Welcome to today's Public Speaker Quick Tip. My name is Scott Stafford. Be sure and check us out at publicspeakingsecrets.net. And on today's quick tip, I want to talk about storytelling and how you can improve your storytelling. Storytelling is a great way to speak to people's subconscious mind. It's a great way to help them visualize a story. It's a great way to bring out emotion. And when I talk about emotion, if you've ever watched a movie before, a movie like Rocky or something like that, where you watch the movie and it fires you up. It fires you up the emotions. Or you watch those movies where you might end up crying. It's amazing when you tell a good story how it can speak to the emotions, and the people will actually start to see themselves in the story. And so storytelling is great for public speaking. It keeps people engaged, keeps people on their feet, keeps people present in your conversation. And so stories are a great way to do that. What's the funny thing is because really when you think back to the movie example, it's not real, is it? I mean, it's basically their light waves bouncing off of a screen, and yet it can still have the ability to invoke those emotions. So when you're telling stories, remember that. Remember to speak to the emotional brain. When you're telling stories, you don't necessarily want to tell them a story with you as the hero. You want to try and paint them into the story. You want them to look at that as though they're actually the hero of the story. They're actually in the story. So you can use words like picture and imagine. Picture and imagine yourself on a beach or something like that. Picture and imagine is a great way to start out a storytelling bit where you want them to actually be in the story. When they can put themselves in the story, that's very powerful, and it's going to make those emotions come out more. And it's going to, when you're going on a speaking, session, or when you're doing a keynote speech or something like that, if you can take people on that emotional roller coaster where you build them up into that point where they're getting their emotions are high, and then you can crash them with maybe a little bit of a depressing story, and then you've got to bring them back up. And when you can take your audience on that emotional roller coaster, your speaking events are going to, just get amazingly better. So one tip that you can do. There's something called a random noun generator, and this just gets you better at thinking on your feet. So it's called a random noun generator. Just Google it, Google random noun generator, and set it to either 2 or 3 words. And what this random noun generator will do is it will spit out 2 random words, like waterfall and puppy dog. And your goal here is to practice, and you can do this best with a partner. Your goal is to practice with this random noun generator. And so you get waterfall and puppy dog. And if you're going to use 2 words, you're going to use the first word as the problem, and the second word is the solution. Okay? So the problem would be the waterfall, and the solution is the puppy dog. Go. And you've got 2 minutes to tell a story. And it's fun, first of all. It's not easy to do, but you really have to just relax your brain and just kind of open up your mind and just start letting words flow out. And you can start to use stories as the problem is the waterfall and the solution is the puppy. And so I would start out with 2 words, and as you start to get better at it, you can set the random noun generator to spit out 3 words, and then you can use problem, challenge, solution with the 3 words, and I would go 3 minutes on that one. And if you can start to get good at just randomly coming up with stories, and remember, when you're telling stories, talk about what did it smell like? What did it feel like? What did it look like? What was the weather like? Involve the senses in your stories. Touch, feel, smell, taste. You ever walk into one of those houses and it just smells so bad that it just burns your nostrils, and so you can really just start to involve all the senses in your stories. So the random noun generator is something great that you can use. It's really going to help you out with your storytelling, and more importantly, just being able to think on your feet and talk without having to think about stuff too much. So I hope you found this tip helpful. Stories are great. Involve stories. Put stories into your presentations. Make sure your stories have a purpose, though. That's one last thing I want to say. Don't just tell a story to tell a story. Use anecdotes. You'd be able to kind of go back to something and tie it in with what you're speaking of. Make sure that your story has a purpose and has a learning moment from it, as opposed to just telling a random story. So hopefully that helps with your storytelling. See you on the next video. Be sure and check us out at publicspeakingsecrets.net. Also check us out on our Facebook page, and join our free Facebook group. We've got all sorts of tips and things on there. We do live videos every now and then, and our goal is to help you become better public speakers. See you next time.